Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV, church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Clovis, special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
A heartfelt thank you to all of our subscribers who joined us for this video. If you have not already subscribed, go to our YouTube channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. Subscribe and click on the notification bell to be alerted whenever we go live. Join our private Juice community. Go to www.thejuicecommunity.com and sign up for free. Join us, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. We have our Money Monday financial series. It is a lunch and learn program at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. Also on Monday, we have our reality series and hot topics at 7 p.m. Wednesdays, we have Bible study at 7:30 p.m. Thursdays, we have church news at 7:30 p.m. We also offer motivational moments, happy marriage lifestyle, news from a godly perspective, movie reviews, as well as our single moms club, Let's Talk Ex-Millennials, and of course, our Cooking with Clovis. Follow us on our podcast channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast, streaming on all podcast platforms. A great big thank you to our podcast production company, RHOA Podcast Productions. They can help you create your own podcast also. Contact them today at houseofnoye.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Custom Apparel Shop. Have them complete your embroidery work and silk screening needs. Do you need a logo created for your fashion apparel or company? Contact Israel Mason today. That is 786-657-7501. Thank you to our main sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries. Truth and Triumph Ministries, a ministry that cares about telling people the truth so they can triumph in life. Thank you, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for all you do.
Hello, hello, hello. It is time. Oh, y'all. This reunion of Real Housewives of Atlanta. There's so much we have to discuss. We're going to try and fit it in all into this hour that we have on the platform. But welcome to the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Let's dive in. Light of the Leo and Jonathan, how y'all doing?
Doing great. Happy to be here to talk about what I feel was a lackluster part 2 of the reunion. I could see why it was only 2 parts. But, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay. He said lackluster. That sounds like a really nice nail polish color.
Lackluster. I don't know if it's a nice nail polish. Interesting, yes. Nice. I wouldn't pick that off the wall.
Well, Jonathan, there are actually people that like matte, matte nail polish with no luster to it. So it would work.
See?
But
like that.
lackluster just sounds so negative to me. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. It's y'all's thing.
I know, Well, how you doing, Light of the Leo?
I'm doing all right. This reunion was cringy. Like the
Cringy?
time, I did not enjoy watching it. And once, like Jonathan said, I see why it was just 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I tell you what is interesting and was interesting is those Housewives of New York. Ooh,
Yes.
ooh, goodness, those
Yes.
Housewives of New York. That's very interesting. And Jonathan, we have got to start talking about that. We have got to do like a big catch up and everything on that because that's really good. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's finish up with Housewives of Atlanta. I'm trying to get this other channel up here. Thank you so much. Got it. So let's go on to Housewives of Atlanta. And we want to say hello to all of you who are our other co-hosts here in the channel. I need to get Tyrone T.D. McCullum over here to help me with this lighting because it is not lighting. It is. I don't like it. Oh, TD, if you can hear me, child. I need you, bro. I need you. Fly in like Superman. I need you.
Yes.
Hey, y'all say hello to Erin. Erin's in the chat.
Hey,
Hey,
Aaron.
hey, girl. Hey, thank you for being here. Y'all remember, check out all of those great links Erin is putting in the chat here, reminding everybody, come on in here and click that like notification button and share. Hey, Dustin. How you doing, Dustin?
Hey, Dustin.
Hey, Dustin.
Thank you so much for being here. Hello. Robin says, ¿qué tal, mi gente? Did I say that right? I hope I did. Listen, her multi-talented self is coming in here. I cannot stand it. She's so cute. I love me some Robin. Thank you, Robin. She said, that's what's up, my people. Okay. Come on now with the other language. I love it.
Yes.
Language, a second language. I love it. So, you guys, she also said Ace Boon Coon in here. You know,
Absolutely. Check
Yes.
in. She is present, honey. Yes.
accounted for.
Yes.
Aaron says, I love Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was a hard reunion too.
Come on. She's right about that.
Mhm.
Yes. And hey, Rajana and Lady Mac 07 over there on Instagram. Thank y'all for being here. You can always feel more than welcome to join us over on our YouTube page as well. But if you're comfortable over here on Instagram, be right there. Be well. Just go ahead and stay right there. We want you to be comfortable. All right. Put your
Yeah.
comments in there. And if you have any questions or comments, we're going to add those to the screen here. But let's dive into this conversation. We're going to try and be as nice and kind as we can on the channel here. And we view these reality shows from a whole different viewpoint than a lot of the other channels where it comes about the gossip, the giggles, and all that kind of stuff. We try and see what we can gain from it to try and strengthen and help others that are probably watching. But we still have a little bit of shade, a little bit. You know, we wearing that dark tint.
Right.
Light tint over here, light tint over here. But you guys, this was an interesting episode to watch. After they brought Ralph on, it got more interesting. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Ralph and Drew. I kind of think they're both playing all of us.
Mm.
I kind of think that. My thoughts. But let's dive in here and get on to this first part. So, Jonathan, Drew and Courtney argue and say that Courtney was coached by Ralph. Oh, thoughts, Jonathan? And just dive in anywhere you wanted to dive in because this is just.
Right. Absolutely. I really can't stand Courtney at all. I really don't want to see her on my TV screen next season. I really hope she doesn't come back. She is an ulcer. She is unwanted. She is uncomfortable. The argument between her and Drew. She was clearly trying to prove something. She's clearly trying to prove that she's right. She's clearly trying to prove, yes, I knew the camera was on when I said she wanted him to foster that child, or adopt that child so she can go have lovely relations with her woman lover over across town. Yeah, I can't stand what her. It's so interesting because Kenya came in her first season and was doing almost the exact same thing that Courtney is doing. But when Courtney does it, it's just that I can't stand it. Of course, in this argument, I am rooting for Drew. However, when Drew comes with her lies, you never know what you're going to believe when anything comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So it's a hard argument to watch because you want to root for Drew, but it's like, are you telling the truth, Drew? At the same time, you know, is Courtney being coached by Ralph? Sure, I'm sure she is. Absolutely. So she has some ammunition to come at Drew with, but at the same time, I find it hard to root for Drew because Drew lies so much. So there's no winners in this argument between Drew and Courtney at all.
It's a lot. Go ahead, Light of the Leo. And Julius, hey, how you doing? Thank you for being over there on Facebook. Julius, I am still trying to find out why YouTube has you not showing up. I'm going to ask TD McCullum. He's been real busy to check our back office on YouTube to find out what's going on. But my sincere apologies for YouTube not having you up there. I don't know if there was an accidental something that happened, but we would check that. But I'm so glad you're here on Facebook, though, Julius. And that's a beautiful picture. You better come on, flow with the hair. Beautiful. Flow hair.
Yeah.
I love it. But I'm still working on that, Julius. But thank you so much for being here. Hey, Fifi.
Hey, Fifi. Oh, gosh.
Y'all know I loved it. Every time I see Fifi's name, it just give me dance vibes. Oh no, she says sending love. See y'all later. Thank you. Thank you. Light of the Leo, go ahead. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? This just anywhere. You can just jump all over the thing if you want to. What's your thoughts?
Really, I just wanted to talk about Courtney right now. She is something else. My major thing right now is just the fact that she feels so comfortable being in the presence and in the being a cohort of somebody's husband, and like when we saw that Courtney was about to close the door on Drew's sister, and she said, don't do that. That's what we're not gonna do. Don't do that. Okay. I thought you'll use the B word. We don't do that.
She said, well, I do now.
Yeah, yes, that's what she said. I do now, girl. That's what. That's how
That's
we know your initial lie about you not using a
exactly.
word
I
is
do.
a
That
lie.
was an I do now lie. That's exactly what
Okay.
that was. But she bothers me, and also the fact, like, okay, I Marlo's not exactly my favorite, but I do have some respect for her, of course.
Yes.
But Marlo was even saying, Courtney, let her speak. Because as
Mm-hmm.
Drew was speaking, Courtney was just trying to speak over her the whole time. And it's like, it just looks weird to me. It looks
Mm-hmm.
fraudulent on both ends, to be honest with you. I don't know. Just like Jonathan said, I don't know what to believe as far as Drew, but I'm certainly not here for Courtney and whatever she's doing or whatever she thinks she is doing. Something tells me she's going to come out looking real stupid soon.
Ooh.
I'm not. And I would not be surprised with that.
The whole time I'm watching this argument, I'm thinking, Courtney, what are you fighting for? What is your issue?
Yes.
Why are you so amped up about this? What are you trying to prove in this moment? And why is it that you seem to have all of this hostility towards Drew? Where did this start? Like, since when do you have all these issues with Drew, and where are they coming from? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what Courtney's intentions are for coming after Drew in such a way where she feels like she really has to prove that she's I don't know what she's doing here. I really don't.
And on top of that, they're trying so hard to lean in on this cousin thing to
Right.
actually give reason as to why. But y'all literally found out y'all were cousins like 17 minutes ago. How do you gain that kind of loyalty of family if you haven't spent any time? Yes, family is family or whatever, but there's still a built relationship there. Y'all ain't know y'all were family until the people that got married that came together to make y'all cousins came together.
And are
And then
y'all
even farther after that.
right? And then the question is, are y'all family? The answer is barely. Okay, so see, because
Ooh.
when your auntie's sister's mother's cousin's son is his mother's auntie's sister's brother's cousin,
Ooh.
Okay.
does it really count then, girl? Because that even Andy
Well,
had to say, well, that's a bit of a stretch for a
But
family
even on top of that,
connection.
Jonathan, that's why I really wouldn't be surprised if they have had hot sexual relations thus far. I really wouldn't be surprised. She is up on him like she's had him.
well, you
Right. Like
guys,
she's a jealous woman.
yes,
Like
I
she
saw
slept with her
something.
man.
I was trying to find it. Drew posted, and I'm trying to find the post. She posted, like it's funny how she's finding out that Courtney lives in Tampa.
Mm.
Yes, and
Mm.
they are alleging that when Ralph said he went to Tampa, that she's making allegations as though Ralph went to see Courtney. So
Mm.
you guys, and I should have screenshotted. I should have done a screenshot, but you guys, there's a lot. Now, let me get to these comments real quick. Robin says, watching Twitter and other recaps, I am led to believe that Drew and Ralph are faking some or all parts of their story. And let me tell you, let me answer that. I kind of got that vibe too, Robin. And
Mm-hmm.
here's
Mhm.
why. They're both living in the same house together.
Right.
And as I was watching them on the stage, as I was watching the reunion today, I have a friend of mine who was a boss, and he said one of the things he studied in college was body language.
Oh,
Mhm.
And he said body language, you can learn a lot. A person can say a lot without ever opening their mouth.
yeah.
So as I watched his body language, Ralph kept this straight face, almost as though he was like, okay, I practiced, I got this down pat. I know nothing that she's saying is true. I'm just going to keep this straight face. So I thought about that and I looked and I was like, you too straight, you too stiff. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And then I
As he
watched
was
Drew.
feeding us BS.
Right. And I watched Drew and I'm like, Drew, I don't know. Drew, you want to talk over, you want to just run your mouth so that nobody can hear what anybody else is saying. I don't know. But I kind of feel like Robin. I think they're both playing us. They're still living in the same house together, even though it's a huge house and he alleges that he moved to another bedroom. I'm just feeling like Drew and Ralph are playing us.
Oh, and even on top of that, Regina, they
Yeah.
mentioned that they never said anything to their children about them no longer being
Yes.
together.
Right. And their children are
That's
old enough
kind of
to
weird.
their children are old enough at this time to kind of understand what separation means. And I also found it extremely interesting that the first 2 or 3 questions that Andy asked both of them, neither one of them wanted to answer either one of those questions at all. And I found that extremely interesting because when you're
Yes.
in a fight with someone, when you're in a battle with someone, you're going to want to pop off. And both of them were hesitant to do so. And I found that extremely interesting to me.
Well, Erin said this. She said, Courtney talking about Drew's child, it was just too much for me. I'm going to have to agree with you, Erin. Even though Courtney did not think the cameras were rolling, well, that's when you get the real truth from people, when they just talking off the cuff, you
Right.
know? And I don't think that she should have brought the kid up. I understand she was trying to make a point that she believes is valid. And that also led me to think, who really has the real money in that relationship? It sounds like Ralph does.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
to
Sure.
me, it's really up in the air what Ralph does for a living. That's a number
Mhm,
one. But
mhm.
but also I have to say, I'll have to say in
He
Courtney's
lies
defense,
for a living,
right,
allegedly. That's what he do.
right. I have to say in
He do
Courtney's
it
defense,
well.
bringing someone else's child up in the conversation doesn't necessarily mean you're talking about that child directly, because she just said she wanted Ralph to adopt the child so that she can go off and do her thing. So, just bringing up the child, not saying anything specifically about the child, I don't think you're talking about the child. But if you bring it up,
I
I
get
guess
that.
it is talking about the child
Well,
in a
I
way.
I do still believe that that's a line crossed because
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
no matter what the situation is, talk about the adults in the situation.
Right.
That child cannot speak for themselves, and of course, they have a mother and or father that should be able to do that for them. And for them, anybody to be concerned about what she is doing or what she desires for her child, that's nobody's business. So I do
Right.
believe that is a violation.
Agreed. I agree that it is a violation.
I hear what you're
Just
saying, though,
bringing
son.
up the child in general, it is a
Yeah.
violation. I just don't think
Not,
it's talking
it's
about the
not
child directly.
direct. It's not
Exactly.
saying your kid it looks like this
It's
or
this
acts like
and that.
this. Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Not like
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I get that too. I get that too. But Courtney, I think I don't know if Ralph is coaching Courtney or they have something else going on, or this whole story about them being cousins is made up. I think it may be made up. I don't think it's real. I think it may be made up because Courtney wanted um, to be relevant,
Right.
have some relevancy. And I think allegedly she may be hiding something, her and Ralph together. But whatever it is,
Okay.
when she was in there talking with Ralph and the sister came and said, "Oh, no, don't you close this door on me." Now, here's what I think. I think the sister is going way too hard after having just been back in the relationship. And hear me out when I'm saying this.
All right.
Her and Drew went through this whole thing where they weren't talking for some time, allegedly. And so Ralph is making allegations that the sisters said a whole bunch of stuff about Drew that was not, like should not be likable to Drew as well. So I think what the sister's trying to do now is swoop in like the super sister and try and have Drew's back, even when she was off camera, not when she was off camera, when they weren't in the filming part in the area, but they were in the dressing room. And she was telling Drew, "Why didn't you tell him about the PI? Why didn't you tell him about the PI?" And Drew was like, "I'm not going to bring my personal stuff on TV." It's like the sister is trying to come in like with all these daggers.
She want to fight for her. She want to fight for
She
her.
does.
It makes me feel as though you trying to come in to make up for the time you weren't there. That's kind of what I'm getting.
I see Drew's sister as someone who fights for her sister. I think she sort of kind of sees Drew losing and she wants to
Mm-hmm.
try to amp things up to make it seem as
Mm,
if Drew's getting a couple more points on her side. I don't
mm.
know what it was that separated Drew and her sister, but I think
Ralph,
her sister. Right. Well, yeah,
Ralph,
I'm sure
yeah.
that's what it was. But I'm sure Drew's sister will fight for her regardless, because she's just that type of sister, in
Yeah.
my opinion, from what I've seen.
From the beginning, she's been fighting for her sister as her manager.
Right.
So this is nothing new for her.
Hmm.
And as far as her trying to make up for lost time, well, you know, in my opinion, it's not her fault that she's not it wasn't in her
Right.
sister's
Well,
life.
that's true. Great point. Yes.
She had to go through a time she had to get herself together. And 2020, that was recent, y'all.
Hmm.
Very recent. So for her to no longer be able to be in the house because Ralph said so, and we can all see why clearly, because of course
Hmm.
he doesn't want to be held accountable for anything. And of course, Drew has a sister that will get anybody together that's coming against Drew,
Okay.
just like Jennifer will come at anybody for JoJo Speaks. I have
Yeah.
no problem with that. So
Mhm.
I identify with her in that space. So, yes, she was saying that because she wants her sister to not look like a fool out here in these streets.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly.
I get that. Hey, Danielle, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Danielle says this. She says she has such a sweet spirit. I watch the show, but people with kingdom marriages do not need to be on reality TV. I really do think it's some type of spiritual agreement that people don't know they are entering in when they go on these shows. And before I get you, Light of the Leo, Danielle is reminding me that
Yes.
great event is coming up, you guys. This great event. Now, Nikisha Walker has this beautiful play that is going to be starting September 16th. So, if you're going to be in the Stockbridge area, you want to see this great show. It is called According to His Shoe Size. It is a wonderful stage play. Listen, you guys, I was there yesterday when they went through a rehearsal run through of this.
Oh.
Y'all, I was laughing, crying, all that together.
Oh, wow.
Y'all gonna want to it, and let me tell you, I'm not gonna give nothing away, but I will say, y'all, this is gonna be a great play. I will be there, and also we still have tickets available. So if you would like to attend, listen, you might be able to go there on our dime. Just inbox or email us at the Juice Radio and Talk Show at gmail.com. Let us know that you'd like to attend, and we'll see if we have some extra tickets left over. But listen, they're going fast, so this is while supplies last. All right. Thank you so very much for the beautiful comment. Go ahead, Light.
So first of all, hey Danielle, girl, it's good seeing you as per usual. So the one thing that we don't think about when it comes to people and their marriages, and as they go in front of the camera and be put out into the world, I don't believe that they put into account what happens when you do so.
Mm,
I don't believe that people think about the things that could come out on Front Street. It's best for them to deal with those things in the beforehand, of course, and or be upfront and truthful with themselves, and then, of course, go through it on TV. But the problem is a lot of these relationships that are on these reality shows, the communication is apparently not there.
Right.
Well,
um
Drew said that they've been having problems before they started doing the show. She said before the 3 years.
so this
So it
show
was
wasn't going to
there
make
before.
anything better.
No.
Right.
This show was actually going to speed up what was already inevitable.
That's the way.
So I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the day that we see a true relationship, a true marriage, you'll know exactly what it is, because these people that everything feels like they're crumbling immediately, like once they get on TV,
Yeah.
is because there's so much truth and so many people are looking into what's going on, and they're finding out things that they shouldn't be finding out.
And let me
Right.
tell you, I love how Danielle said kingdom marriages. Now, kingdom marriages, y'all
Mhm.
don't miss over that whole word right there. Kingdom
Right.
Oh
marriages.
yeah. Oh yeah.
These marriages are comfort marriages. And in
That's
some
true.
cases, check out Candy, because Candy, when Andy asked Candy, What other things have they done? And when he counted, you doing threesomes, and she was like, yeah, looking like whatever. And then she said fours, and she said, oh yeah, these four. And they were like, well, the ladies were even like, well, how does that work? And I said, you know what? What in the whole heaven and earth and dirt and soil and all this kind of stuff, y'all? I just don't understand this type of relationships. I just don't. Go ahead,
it's personally my belief. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
No, go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay. It's personally my belief that reality TV does not help or hurt any marriages. All it does is amplify what you already have in your marriage. I have to say, one of my favorite marriages on reality TV is Dr. Wendy and Eddie. I love to see their relationship. I love to see them together. They clearly have a very safe, positive relationship from what we've seen. It seems like they don't let reality get in the way of their relationship. They clearly have communication going on whenever they're talking. They're always talking in good sense. I love to see it. So, the reality TV does nothing to the marriage. The marriage comes to the reality TV, and reality TV amplifies it so that everybody can see it. But what you have, your core is always going to be your core, no matter what, whether the cameras are there or not.
Yeah, the
hey,
issues are
Latoya. Hey, Latoya. Go ahead, Light.
Issues are exposed when it comes to reality. Now, when it comes to people in their marriage, and they may have extra people enjoying their marriage with them, not even their marriage, enjoying their sexual relations together. I'll say this because we are on different pages when it comes to that. Though it's not for Jennifer, okay? It is for some people. And if there is a respectable conversation between those two, okay? And if there are clear lines drawn between those two, and also with whoever they bring into the situation, because apparently it's not a long-term situation, it's just for, some fun. And I'm not saying it's right, because it's not right for Regina, it's not right for me, and it's not right for Jonathan. But it's all right for somebody else. And I'm not, and this is why I don't like to put blankets on what's supposed to be done for anybody in their marriage. Do your marriage the way you do your marriage, but there has to be some ethics about it, in my opinion, making sure that everybody is on the same page. I know that Regina feels very strongly about this, because she would never, ever have anybody close, not even to the house, just nobody even close to Mr. Clovis. Ain't no way.
Y'all can't even share mail with my husband. Mail.
Okay. Y'all might not even be able to y'all can't even give him a high five. It's that.
The mail lady got to be careful when she comes to the door. She's like, I'm delivering your package. Let me see it. No.
And then that's perfect. That's everything. That's what needs to be had for Regina's relationship. Right. So I just wanted to make sure I say that out loud.
I get it. Thank you so much. Listen, Julia says they need to figure it out, because Lord, Julius, I get you. Y'all say hello to Loyalty 55. Hey, they said, I think Drew is the money maker. You do?
Think so. Because let me tell y'all, if she was the money maker, she wouldn't be in that house. Okay.
Well, wait, Latoya says still living in the same house is not uncommon, i.e. my situation. Oops.
Understood. But Latoya, if you had the money, if you had the ducats,
right,
would you be there?
No. Yeah, if Drew had the ducats, she would definitely be in an apartment. We'd be seeing her in an apartment by herself, doing her own thing. Right, exactly. Not being in the same house as her soon-to-be ex-husband. But it is what it is.
Because he going to conferences and stuff and
conferences.
Whatever he does.
For what?
In Vegas.
But wasn't it coincidental? That he was there during that same time, and Candy called the people while
and verified.
And this is what I think
what
it is.
What he was there to do.
Hey, let me tell you something.
playing both of us, all of us, y'all.
Just because he had that lanyard and he made sure to show this is where I'm at, I ain't see nobody else walking behind him. I didn't.
You think it was purposeful? You think he was setting us up?
To be honest, I believe there's a big old chance there was a conference that weekend. Whether he was there for it, who knows?
Right.
Because we don't know.
What do y'all think about these text messages that Sheree dropped, that somebody dropped at her house? And I'm like, Andy, they got through the gate.
That's some real foolishness. I don't know, because Drew didn't deny. She didn't say, "What's this? I don't even remember saying this." She didn't say none of that. She was like,
she did it. She allegedly did it.
So I believe those are her alleged text messages.
But you know, Marlo, I mean, Kenya was looking at it, and Kenya was like, but he didn't respond when she was still showing the text message about Ralph, but she didn't say nothing about, listen with Drew. She was like, she was like, would you text your friend? That's what Candy said. Would you text your friends, stuff like this? I don't know if I would. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to say that's what Candy said. She said, "Would you text your friends something like this?" It seemed to, if there was something incriminating in those text messages, that would have been read out aloud, line for line, word for word. There was clearly nothing incriminating about those text messages. Maybe it might have shown that there was a friendship, some type of relationship between the two, but there were no expletive. There was no expletive information concerning a sexual indiscretion of any sort.
Especially if Andy didn't feel the need to repeat any of it.
Because if Andy saw it, he would have read it.
Yeah. Well, he did read it. It was right. I don't see anything.
I mean read it out loud. He would have read it out loud if he would have been something incriminating.
What do y'all think about the text message that that Drew pulled up saying that this person allegedly was after Ralph, and Andy said, "Oh, look at this. She's got a big butt," or whatever, and but Ralph was like, "I didn't respond," and even Kenya said Ralph, but he did not respond.
Just because he didn't respond didn't mean anything transpired before that. Maybe he didn't want to come back.
Yeah, for me, I felt like that didn't hold much weight, in my opinion. To me, like I don't see Drew or Ralph in any high esteem or standard or anything of that nature right now. So I think that just like she brought out a peach for Ralph.
I wish she would stop going to the farmer's market before she come on set. I cannot take it.
These props are not Drew's friends. She should not use them again.
It wasn't true.
They are falling flat.
She is not ready.
And they're not working at all. Like I understand that she wants to have an effect, but these props are not giving you effect, honey. These
she needs better friends.
Very
she needs
much
better
so.
friends. She needs better people to help her with her reads, like Sheree did. She did all the studying that she needed. She gathered all the rehearsed reads that she needed, and she came in there prepared with paper, not props. That went out with Kenya and her bullhorn, okay? So
bullhorn and scepter.
And that scepter. Yes, that's when that went out. Okay. So we're not doing that anymore. We can't step to the past so we can get you to the future episodes. Okay. You should have went to. Well, she ain't got no good friends though. She apparently don't know how to pick no assistant neither. Everybody don't like her apparently.
Girl, can we get to the assistant, because the assistant was the one that spilled the tea about.
But that's the same assistant that was in there wiping her tears and helping her get ready when she walked off stage. It was the same assistant, but she was fighting hard for that assistant.
And
she only need to talk to her sister.
Even after Candy and Kenya and Marlo said that the assistant said these things, Drew was still denying it. Like, girl, like you at a certain time, you just have to become real with reality, and just face the facts, because you continuously lying on TV is making you look like a liar, and no one believes a liar.
But I know, and Ralph said that message came from your assistant. Now, if Ralph would have said that by himself, and Candy and Kenya, who was sitting on the same side of the sofa with Drew, would not have co-signed and say, "Yeah, well, I heard that too from the assistant. I heard that too."
I heard that the assistant said.
Yes, I heard the assistant say such and such. Yes.
Yeah, I would have been like, maybe Ralph is, just, trying to lie on the assistant. But when others hear it, but then Drew kept riding hard for the guy, saying, "Oh no, Ralph said that. Ralph said that." Now he's saying assistant, but the assistant was right. The same assistant was right there in the room. Drew has not had good relationships from what I see as far as assistants, because my gosh, Drew, there's always an issue.
Either she's too nice and people walk all over her and
Right.
use her for the situation that she's in, or she's just that horrible that people don't feel any need to create any loyalty with her. But I do
Mhm.
need to say, Latoya said some really funny stuff. She said that Ralph made that ID himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And she
I saw that comment. Yeah.
okay, and she also says Courtney dropped that off, and I believe it. And I believe it wasn't a
Right.
drop off. She went into that woman's house because, like you said, how'd she get in the gate?
Yeah. There's
Right.
a gate.
She dropped
There's
that
a
off in
gate.
that woman's house to the chateau, honey.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, Drew did not deny the text messages. And again, how did we get the text messages? Who else is not on Drew's side? Because somebody leaked the text messages. Was it Ty?
Let me tell you something. Drew only needed to talk to her sister
Who
at
else
this point.
had access to the text messages?
She
Who else had access? So she's got to check within her camp to see somebody she's not able to trust. And I think it's more than just Ralph.
it's
I think it's
everybody.
more than just
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
yeah.
everyone in her team.
No,
Well,
nobody
Sanya and
like her.
Kenya discussed Kenya not contacting her when she lost her baby. Do y'all think that Sanya had a right to be that upset with Kenya?
Here's my thing. We're setting up all these expectations that are unreasonable. Sonia, you and Kenya are not good girlfriends. You guys are not calling each other on a daily basis. You're not hanging out. You're not having dinner. You're not having play dates. You're not doing any of that. I haven't even seen Sonia and Kenya's kids together. Kenya's kids have been with Candy's kids. Kenya's kids have been with other people's kids, but they haven't even been with Sonia's kids. So, girl, like, why are you just like Marlo's expecting so much from Candy about the death of her nephew? Sonia, why are you expecting so much out of Kenya in this moment here? I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
gosh. I certainly do agree. But I can't say for something that serious, for a coworker, I would at least no, I wouldn't. Because it's not like they're close. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. But to be honest, this is why I believe that Candy does what she needs to do in the
And keep it
midst
moving.
and just send out stuff because they're all going to say, "Well, Candy, she ain't got no time for nothing. She ain't no real friend. She don't reach out. She don't do this, that, and third." I believe she do the most just so she can make because she actually sent no, she called. No, she FaceTimed and
Mhm.
made sure to do that, and she was sent flowers from her other two good Judys that I guess she see on the regular. But
Yeah, Sanya said that Candy sent Uber Eats. Candy, you send the gifts I like, girl. You
Right.
send the
that's
gifts.
food.
Candy
Food.
always
Okay.
some food. She will send somebody some good food. I love that. Well, Marlo and Candy also again they argued over the whole situation about unfortunately Marlo's nephew
Right.
passing away. Now I think the realness, and I think Sanya was right in what she was saying. That the delivery and the conversation each of them weren't really hearing what each other were saying. And
Mhm.
I'm going to understand with um, Marlo. Marlo was saying, I just needed more. And she says, you and I have known each other for all these years. But she has to understand Candy's a super busy person. She may not be able to cater to you like others who are not as busy. So I think that's where the breakdown was coming in. What do you
And
guys
you
think?
know, to be honest, I don't even believe it's about her being busy. I don't care how long you've known somebody. It's the relationship that you hold with that person that will
Exactly.
justify whether or not I'm out here about to go above and beyond for your behind because of this thing happening.
Mhm.
She said we've known each other for 15 years. She said
Right.
we ain't been friends for 15 years. She ain't said that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And when Andy asked her point blank, well, what more did you want her to do? What is it that
Right.
you were expecting her to do? And Marlo's like, I don't know anything more.
Say it.
Or
Mhm.
and then she came up with something saying, you know, she could have called his mama and sang to him or something like that. Like, see, Marlo,
Okay,
that
now
further shows how defenseless you are with this defense, with this
it's
issue.
stupid.
It's such a
Mhm.
non-issue. Because
I
you
think
can't
what
even fathom what more Candy could have done because she did the best that she could have done in the position that she's in compared to you.
I think Marlo has more time on her hand, and she thinks that because she can give more time to the ladies, that the ladies should give that same time to her.
And
But because remember, Sanya said, I think all the other ladies were busy, and Marlo was the only one that she told about her pregnancy. She felt like all the other ladies were too busy. So Robin said, people do what they can, not what they want them to do. And I get that. I get that. And Latoya said this. She says, why would she expect more when they weren't cool at that time? And I think, I think Marlo is still trying to say, listen, we were friends all the time. But Candy said it clear. She says, it's not like we were like friends.
Right.
Exactly.
And do you guys agree with Candy when she says that Marlo's just jealous of her? Because I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that's the reason why.
I don't think she's jealous. I don't think there's jealousy involved. I think Marlo reminds me of somebody who really just wants everybody to pick up the phone when she calls. She don't want to wait 3-4 days to get a call back. That's what I get. I don't pick up jealousy vibes. Go ahead, like, what's your thoughts?
You may have something with that attention thing because of her life instances, things that she has to go through. There's a possibility that she really want the attention, but I still don't have jealousy. I don't know. I'm not sure. But we don't know how she truly looks at Candy, so we never be able to say that. What was I going to say? I lost it. Okay.
Well, Candy and Sanya then get into an argument. Because Candy is like, this is, I guess, between her two. But I love that Candy and Marlo were able to say, listen, we both know how to be cordial.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like, this beef don't have to stay. Even if it is a beef, they going to just still be cordial. And that's what I like about two grown women who have differences. They're still able to come on the platform together and still be cordial with each other. Now, will they argue, fuss, and fight again? They might. Yes. But it's not a situation where they're like, I'm not filming with her and I don't want her around. Well, so we didn't see. But I love the aspect of, yes, I can be cordial with you.
And I remember what I was going to say. Unspoken expectations.
Yes.
They will never be met. I just don't understand why everybody expects so much out of everybody when they haven't had the conversation or did not solidify a relationship to say, well, this came up, so you have to respond in this way for me to look at you favorably.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I was having these. Let me see here. Robin said this real quick. She said, the nicest thing I can say about Marlo is that she is delusional and self-important.
I like that assessment, and I agree with it.
I am in agreement.
Yeah, I think Drew is really hurt. I don't think that she should continue the pettiness with all these tactics and things that she does, these props that she brings. Like Jonathan said, they're falling flat, but they're also showing the immaturity that Drew has.
Thank you. Her immaturity and Ralph's immaturity, was so glaringly obvious in this moment while they're going through this divorce that they're going through. Yeah. But it's so obvious how immature both of them are. It seems like Drew is a little more mature than Ralph is because Ralph is just on another level. But still, they're both so petty, as you said, Regina. It's hard to watch two grown people be so petty towards each other when they can just either work it out or just separate. And that's it. Leave it at that.
And here's the thing that when I looked at that and I wrote down this specifically that Drew is being very petty. Now, I'm not giving Ralph any passes. But what I'm looking at is Drew with her pettiness is you have to take time out to think this over in your head, run it by somebody else. I'm going to pull out this peach and I'm going to throw it to him. What do y'all think about this? You have to have a game plan and think that thing all over before you actually bring it to a stage. This is not just something that you just say, well, oh, there's a peach here. Let me throw this to you. No, this is thought out. So Drew, this has to stop. This is the most immaturest thing. Her throwing the bone on the floor, all of this. And my thought process is, how long is taking you to think these things up? Who's feeding this into you? Is this all you, Drew?
Honey, and that's an answer that I don't think I want to know because then my respect for Drew will go down significantly.
That's a thought process.
Because for me, I feel as though that takes a lot of thought for someone like Drew to think of. And the fact that they're so minuscule and they have no effect at all is even worse.
Maybe she's not having a conversation with somebody else because maybe somebody else will tell her, girl, don't do that. Maybe this is all in her head.
I
I'm going to
think
do this
that's
myself. But again, it is really too immature.
Or she
That
has a lot of yes men around her.
for
And I
for
believe she do.
yeah,
For me, it doesn't seem like Drew is like a girlfriend type of girl. She doesn't seem like
no.
she has a lot of girls around her, that she's hanging out with the girls and she's talking with the girls late at night. I feel like Ralph was one of her only friends. And because she's losing him, that's why it's so devastating towards her. And I think that's why she clings onto her sister so much as well, because I don't think
Well,
she
now
really
she's
has much of a circle.
Well, now she is. What do you guys now? When Ralph said they had the conversation and it brought up why didn't Ralph adopt Drew's son? And now Ralph, this part I'm gonna have to side with Ralph, even though it may I don't know if it's true or not. But Ralph said he decided not to go through with the adoption because Drew's son's father is in the picture and they're at a better place. Now, Drew acknowledged on the stage when Andy asked her, are you guys in a better place? And she did acknowledge, yes, they are. So by Ralph saying, no, I'm not going to adopt him when, he has a father, that much I can agree with. Is it true? Is it fact? I don't know. But I am going to give some kudos to him because when one man looks at the opportunity to keep a father and son together,
Right.
and not take that ownership title of father away from that father who's trying, because they said that, the relationship is better. I'm going to have to give him some credit for that, for Ralph doing that.
Right. And Ralph has been saying this for the last 3 years,
long
y'all. He's been saying this for a long time. And what sense does it make for someone to adopt a child who as the father, when their father is already in their lives? When adoption comes in when there's a need. When there's no need, what's the point of the adoption?
So when Drew even brought this up, seasons past, saying she wanted Ralph to adopt him, my whole thought when it first came out that the boy's father was not in the picture. And when I found out that he was in the picture, I was like, okay, is he not? And Ralph broke it down. He says, the 3 reasons why you do adoption. And, and he was good on that. And I know that now, listen, he had to get that education from somebody.
Okay.
Somebody, because they ain't came directly from him. Let's be real.
Probably a conversation he had with another man, and they probably
or a lawyer.
Yes, exactly.
That sounded a whole bunch of legal on that. But listen, I'm glad that as a man point, maybe he's using it to his advantage to say, this is why I'm not going to adopt your son, but I'm going to take it from the good side of it. Let the son have the relationship of knowing that his father is still his father, you are still his stepfather. There's still a father title in there for both of you, and help the son and the father to continue to build that relationship because. The father may have felt bad. He may not financially be where Ralph and Drew is right now. And he may think if, you're adopting my son, you're taking, my real jewel away from me and, not leaving me with anything else. Yeah. So that was, could have been a lot. Well, Ralph and Drew go into saying who's unfaithful. And, and Ralph claims that he's not been unfaithful to Drew. And Andy asks, have you cheated on her? And he said, no. He says, but she's cheated on me with these allegations. Do you guys believe that Drew has been cheating on Ralph and Ralph has been cheating on Drew?
I believe they both have been unfaithful towards one another. Who was unfaithful towards the other first? Who knows how often it happened? I don't know, but to me, it seems like both of them have done it to one another, and they're both mad at each other for the same reason.
Yeah. Well, let's get these other comments. Latoya said, my heart broke for Drew. I could feel her pain. And Latoya says, I understood why she gave him a peach, even though it was immature. And Aaron said, when Drew first brought up the adoption was because the father wasn't in the picture, allegedly was in prison. The man did not know the son until he was 2, then went to jail. When he resented, got out. So I understand, but even though somebody's in jail, if they still want to have a relationship with their child, I don't think that another man should come and adopt that child without having a real depth conversation with that biological father.
Right.
Because that's taking a lot away from that biological father. And just because you're down and you're having a hard time and you're in a situation where you're on, having hard times, again, some of these parents may look at these children being their only prized possession, not possession per se, but my jewel, my life my reason for living. And if you take that away from them, then that all that life that they have is probably going to be gone. So I get what people are saying, but you know, that has to be a real serious heart-to-heart conversation, not just to say as a woman, well, he's not around, so I want you to be the baby daddy, and you take on your name, because names are valuable. Names are, you know, they come with something. And just because it's not, you know, where you want that name to be right now, does not mean that that name's value won't increase later. But come on now, have these conversations. Don't just be taking away people's rights that really are trying or are there. Aaron said when he got out, he started a relationship still new. And I love that. I love that Drew allowed that to take place. I love that Ralph allowed that to take place, because all three of them have to understand that the child is more important than the drama.
Right.
And the child should be able to make that decision when he's old enough to understand fully what it entails.
Now that makes sense.
Right. Because he may be too young to understand. They may just be saying, well, Ralph is going to adopt you. He's going to be your dad. You know, he's going to be in the house with you, put you to bed and all that. But then when he gets older, he's understanding, you know, why did my dad allow, you know, his paternal right to be taken away?
Right.
You know?
There's going to be some questions.
It may be some questions. So Latoya said JoJo wanted to have the same last name as everyone else. Is that the little baby's name? Her son's name? He wanted to have the same last name. I get that. They can hyphenate it. I think they can hyphenate it and just say, listen, you know, we're going to hyphen the name, and you're still going to have your father's still going to have paternal rights. Aaron said, now I'm not sure what the right choice would be for adoption. If Ralph doesn't want to adopt, better the child to not be put through it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because now there's a situation where they're divorcing. Okay, my adopted dad, he adopted me and then he left.
Right.
Okay.
For me, adoption is something that someone has to want to do on their own solely. Because if you're not in a couple relationship, adopting as a couple, if one is just adopting, that has to be his sole decision. And if you have to try to push someone to do it, and they're not openly, willingly, 100% to go ahead and do it, it's probably not a good idea for y'all to do it.
No. Now, Ralph and Drew, when asked a question, Andy asked them both. He says, do you love each other? And Ralph said, yes, I love my wife. And Drew also said she loves Ralph. But Ralph said, I love my wife, and kind of left it at that. Drew said, yeah, I love him. And then she went on to a whole nother reasons and saying that Ralph didn't protect her and all that. And she has every right to say how she feels. Do you all think this relationship is going to continue, or do you think they should depart? What's your thoughts on that? I'll start with you, Jonathan, then up to you, Light.
I don't think they're safe with one another. So for that reason, I would say it's best for them to go their separate ways, especially when one is not giving much of any effort to try to save the marriage, whereas the other seems to be doing the work, going to counseling, things of that nature, but is just tired of being embarrassed, as she said on the reunion. So it doesn't seem like they would be good together, because I don't see them reconciling whatsoever. I think their relationship has gotten to the point to where there's no turning back.
Well, if they're going to stay together. So your on thoughts, Light?
Yeah, I do. Well, if as long as all of this is valid, 'cause
Right.
they created a ruckus, and it did have me looking at things a little sideways, because I at this point I don't really trust much, but
Yeah.
it feels like at least some of it is real. I'm sorry, just the way that he was acting, what he was saying, and what she was saying in response. For him to say you're acting, and then she just up and left, was like,
Yeah, that feels real, didn't it?
that was
a complete straight face. Ooh, he got a straight
yeah.
face. Go on.
And it's disgusting to me. So they don't need to be together, to be honest. I feel like her sister sees everything that she went through
Yeah.
going on with her sister, and
Yeah.
though she may not be physically damaged from the situation, the mental damage is done.
Let me say this
Right.
also. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The part I think that the sister is really looking at is she sees herself in Drew, and she's trying to save Drew.
Yes.
That's
What
exactly
she
what's
went
happening.
through in her relationship. And I think that's probably why she has more of the fight. So I'll say that instead of saying maybe, and maybe it is part she feels she wasn't there for that time to protect her. but also she's looking at what she went through and the abusive relationship that she was in. And she may be trying to save Drew from that part as well. So, Kenya also tried to talk to Ralph while Drew was off stage, saying that their relationship reminds them of her and Mark's relationship. What's your thoughts on that, Jonathan?
Y'all know that I'm not I do like Kenya in this moment. I feel as though talking to Ralph in this moment, there really wasn't any reason to try to reason with him at this time, because he's got his mindset as to where he's going to go, what he's going to do, and there's no changing his mind. I think just Kenya just took this moment because she saw an open space for the moment to take place. And so therefore she capitalized on that. I do like the fact that she is comparing her relationship to Drew and Ralph. It does seem like there are similarities between the two. The fact that, she was saying that Ralph was doing something and making Drew feel less important, making Drew's feelings, making it as though Drew's feelings aren't valid. And so I do understand that. But then when Ralph asked her, "How long were you married?" It's like, okay, stay out my business, okay?
Let me tell you, I saw that two ways. I saw that, Ralph was being shady. Okay. But then I also saw that Ralph was saying, listen, you were only married 2 years. We've been in here longer than that. Right. So let me stay over here and stop trying to give me all that advice you're trying to give me. Exactly. So, I think he should have taken what information Kenya was giving and just ate on it a little bit. He probably would have liked it.
No, I believe if he didn't want to hear it, he needed to hear it. He didn't even respond either. But here's my thing, though. I actually appreciate her adding her experience into the space. Yeah. Because no one was speaking those kinds of truths. They just wanted to, stay away from that. And be silent. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter how long you deal with a horrible person, the effects of it, the trauma, it's still there, whether you dealt with it for 2 years or 20 years. Right. It's still an issue. And whether you got out of it before your 20 years or not, she still has an experience.
Right. Yeah.
And her experience is looking a lot like what Drew's going through. And even on the last season, or like maybe 2 seasons ago, I forget, because I hardly watch them, but Kenya was speaking the same things while they were up in New York. They were going to see a show with Candy, and she was saying those same things to him back then as well. And things have not changed. Not saying that what she needs to be saying should make him change, but we should be able to see that, he's been doing this for a very long time. She's experienced the same things, and she's tried to speak up for the woman.
Right.
I appreciate her speaking in that space.
I do too.
Yeah, I was glad she did say what she's said. And that's why I said Ralph maybe should have just, ate it a little bit, just take it in, just chew on it just a little bit, Ralph. You probably would have really loved the taste of it.
But that response that he had, try
it just a little bit.
That response that he had, asking her how many years she'd been married, that was an immature response.
That's what I was going to say.
You realize you're talking to a child here.
His immaturity wouldn't keep him shut up.
And he doesn't see anything wrong with his actions.
2 parts. It could have been immaturity, but it also could have been he probably was saying, "Listen, how long have Drew and Ralph been married? Years and years and years." And he was probably saying,
"How long he been cheating?"
Listen, we got this over here because your marriage is too young for you to come over here. That's probably what he was saying. Not saying that I agree with him. I'm saying that's probably could have been another angle that he was coming from. Sure. Now, Drew performs her song. She performs her song. And I thought she did very well with her song. She directed that song as she sang it to Ralph. And even Andy said she's singing that to him. Everybody's faces were like, again, what were you guys' thoughts on this song and her singing it to Ralph directly?
I was pleasantly surprised. I actually was. I didn't expect to hear what I heard. She was on key for the most part. She didn't sound like she was struggling for any notes or anything of that nature. She seemed like she was very comfortable in the space. which was great to see because we really don't see Drew perform too often. I really wasn't paying much attention to the lyrics as I was paying more attention to her vocals.
Oh, I heard some of the lyrics.
Right, but I did enjoy what I heard, and it was nice to see the other girls kind of grooving along with it. Now, I don't know if y'all saw Andy's face. I don't know if he was making that face towards because of her vocals or because she was singing it to Ralph. I think
Because she was singing it to Ralph.
She was pointing to Ralph.
Yeah. He was making those faces because it was directed to Ralph. And did y'all see that nasty plum and bite it again? Oh.
Okay, Andy. Why did he bite that to begin with? But Andy, you don't know where that plum been?
Andy, you got 2 babies at home. They need to learn about germs, Andy. Oh, Andy. Well, you guys, that was our recap for the Housewives of Atlanta. We're going to go around now and discuss what we think our final thoughts are for this season of Housewives of Atlanta. I want you all to remember to give this video a thumbs up. Let us know if you like it. If you don't like it, give a thumbs down. Either way, we want to hear your responses, all right? Thank you all for being here. Remember, Light of the Leo comes on tonight at 9 p.m. Y'all go over to her channel. Erin has been so gracious to put the link in the chats here. We support each other's channel on the platform, all right? So, you guys, let's have our closing thoughts. I'll say this about these Housewives of Atlanta. If they do come back next season, which there's a lot of uproar, if they're coming back, if it's a new cast or so forth or whatever, I don't know. I would say this for these ladies. I would hope that they would look back at these videos they did, this series, and do a recap of themselves and see what they did not like about themselves and change themselves instead of looking at others and saying, well, they need to change that. They need to change that. If there's something that they saw in themselves that they can do better, then I would ask that they would do that. Because oftentimes we always try and look at other people and change them, but we never look within. So it's maybe about time that if we each look within ourselves, maybe if we start with ourselves, then others start with themselves, then we'll be able to get this to a better show where everybody's not fussing and fighting and having all this negativity towards each other. And you have to understand, everyone's time is valuable. And if someone does not have the time right now to spend with you, don't think that they're being mean or unkind to you. Just maybe have some understanding. They've got a lot of stuff that's probably going on, i.e. Candy and Marlo. Okay, y'all get that together now. Let's y'all get it together. All right, Light of the Leo, your closing thoughts on this Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I'm happy it's over.
Thank I love her too much.
Oh, I like that. Short and sweet.
I know. Let me get Erin's beautiful comment here, and I'm coming over to you, JoJo. She said the song was beautiful. I will download it. Drew showed she is so talented and so strong to sing that to Ralph. I think she wanted an opportunity to give him some more shade. Right. So she was like, okay, let me sing this particular song. So, Jonathan, what's your closing thoughts on these Housewives of Atlanta?
Right. Unspoken expectations will only lead you to dismay and despair and disappointment. If you don't make it clear what your expectations are in a relationship or a friendship, and that said friend does not meet those expectations, then you have to realize why it is that they didn't meet those expectations, because they did not know that you had those expectations, and you did not voice those expectations to your friend. So communication is key in every single relationship. So if you don't want to find yourself being dismayed by, being disappointed by someone not meeting your expectations, think back and think, why is it that they didn't meet those expectations? Because they didn't know there were expectations to be met.
Well, there you go. They got to know it's expectations to begin with. So y'all remember to click that thumbs up on this video. Thank you all so very much. That's our recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta. We'll be starting again next week. We'll let you guys know what we're going to be discussing. We are going to do some more conversations on the Real Housewives of New York. I really am liking this new cast. I really love this latest episode that happened. We'll chit chat with Jonathan, and maybe we'll see if we can put something in, squeeze something in this week. I'll see how busy Jonathan's schedule is. But listen, that episode, I'm loving it. But let me tell y'all, they better leave Jenna alone.
Yes.
Leave Jenna alone. Listen. All right. So you guys, thank y'all so very much for watching the Juice Radio and Talk Show. And remember, go over there and check out this Saturday. This Saturday, Okay, this Saturday, September 16th. If you're watching a repeat, it's September 16th, 2023, over there in Stockbridge. You can get your tickets at Evite, or you can just email us, all right? According to his shoe size, comedy stage play by Nikisha Walker. Y'all are going to love this play. Check it out, all right? Remember, if you don't have tickets and you're like, okay, listen, can you gift me a ticket? If you're in the area, go ahead and send me an email at the Juice Radio and Talk Show at Gmail, and we'll see how many tickets we have left. But you need to let us know right away, okay? Send us an email. If you send me an inbox, I may not get it until next week. I've got several channels that we're trying to cover. So my email is the best way to get in contact with me. So send it to the Juice Radio and Talk Show at gmail.com, and we'll do our best to make sure that we respond back and get you guys some great tickets, okay? Y'all check that out, all right? We got so much other stuff coming up, but thank y'all so very much for watching the Juice Radio and Talk Show on our reality recap. We appreciate you all for being here. Listen, catch us on the next one, but you won't catch us if you don't hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Make sure y'all do that, all right? Go over to our YouTube page, the Juice Radio and Talk Show, the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Look for the red mug and microphone, and you know you have the right one. All right, you guys. Thank y'all so very much for being here. Light of the Leo and Jonathan. Appreciate y'all so much. Y'all also check out JoJo Speaks, because he's going to speak on Thursday on his hot topics. Ooh, them hot topics be piping over there at JoJo Speaks. I love it. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, LaToya. Thank you, everyone in the chats. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed evening. As we get out of here, we say we love you, and 1, 2, 3. Bye. Good night. Bye.
Do you enjoy smooth jazz saxophone? T.D. McCullum has 2 singles available with more to come. The first is an original song called Groove With Me, featuring the classic sounds of Washington, D.C. go-go and his smooth jazz saxophone. The second is called Drunk on Love, a smooth jazz saxophone cover of Rihanna's Drunk on Love from her 2011 Talk That Talk album. Both are available on all major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, and more. Add them to your favorite library and playlist today. And follow Tyrone on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Mr. T.D. McCullum for your music and bookings. JoJo Speaks is a YouTube channel that goes live every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. with hot topics and social commentary. Come join the Light of the Leo, Mr. T.D. McCullum, and our good friend Mike, Mr. Real 121, for fun and JoJo's unique spin on today's top stories. Go to YouTube, subscribe, like, share, and comment. If you are struggling to figure out who you are and where you're heading, but need a little light to bring you back on track, subscribe to the Light of the Leo for some healing and real conversation. Here is where you will find encouragement and the reminder that you are not alone. Continue your journey to freely be yourself at all times with the Light of the Leo. She goes live Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with her co-host, accountability partner, and little bro, JoJo Speaks. Join Faithful Warrior Ministries for our family and friends Saturday morning prayer. Every Saturday morning at 10-ish a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a great time catching up, sharing testimonies, and having transparent, real conversations about life. We encourage each other and show how we can fit God into each equation of our lives. Enjoy a devotional reading and family prayer. You have a prayer family with Faithful Warrior Ministries. Subscribe on YouTube at Faithful Warrior Ministries, and on Facebook, like us at Faithful Warrior Men. That's M-I-N as in Ministries. Join Pastor Lorenzo Evans and Living in Grace Ministries. The messages are not social media driven. They teach what's true and not what's popular. Living in Grace Ministries goes live every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube to Living in Grace Ministries and click on the notification bell. Pastor Lorenzo also has It Takes a Village podcast on the first and third Saturday of each month, pushing to bring back the village concept. We are more powerful when we are united. Together we stand, and division is not an option. A heartfelt thank you to all of our subscribers who joined us for this video. If you have not already subscribed, go to our YouTube channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. Subscribe and click on the notification bell to be alerted whenever we go live. Join our private Juice community. Go to www.thejuicecommunity.com and sign up for free. Follow us on our podcast channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast, streaming on all podcast platforms. A great big thank you to our podcast production company, RHOA Podcast Productions. They can help you create your own podcast also. Contact them today at houseofnoye.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Custom Apparel Shop. Have them complete your embroidery work and silk screening needs. Do you need a logo created for your fashion apparel or company? Contact Israel Mason today. That is 786-657-7501. Thank you to our main sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries. Truth and Triumph Ministries, a ministry that cares about telling people the truth so they can triumph in life. Thank you, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for all you do.